Hello, I'm Michael Diamond, and you're watching Muscle Central. Okay, what I'll be talking about in this video, since this past Mr. Olympia, there's been a lot of back and forth about the conditioning of the Olympia lineup. Most specifically, a lot of the criticism has gone to Brandon Currie and, and statements about comparing that lineup condition-wise to lineups in the 90s. I think the ball all started rolling with Dorian Yates when he made the statement that, in his opinion, Brandon Currie looked about 6 weeks out from being ready to go on stage, and that he wouldn't have placed in the top six during his era. That was followed by Sean Ray, Chris Cormier, Lee Priest, Ronnie Coleman, even Jay Cutler. Although Jay Cutler was a little more diplomatic about it, he said something in the lines of, well, Brandon did what he had to do to win. But you kind of get the feeling that by the way he was saying it, he pretty much felt the same way as the aforementioned. Now, Dave Palumbo and RX Muscle, I believe was on the Iron Rage. Him and Lee Priest were talking about this topic. Now, in response to that, and they were pretty much in agreement about the statement that Dorian made. Now, in response to that, Fouad who also has a YouTube channel, he does a show on his channel with Luke Sando. They took exception to what was said, and one of their shows, they basically countered it. Dave Palumbo tried for a little while to get him on Iron Debate and have the two of them debate with him and Lee Priest on the topic. Finally, it went down. And they went back and forth. It was good. Very respectful of each other, everybody. But Fouad made a statement that I totally don't agree with. He said you can't compare the guys today to back in the 90s because the guys today are a lot bigger, and being that much bigger, it's not quite the same getting the conditioning like they got back then. Well, let's take a look at some of the competitors from the late 90s, actually not only the late 90s, through the 90s and early 2000s. Dorian Yates, 260 pounds shredded. That is not a small person. That's bigger than most of the guys on stage today. Same with Nasser Al-Somebody. At his best condition, and his biggest and best condition, you're talking about 265, 270 pounds. Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, all these guys were 260 and plus, well conditioned. So the comment that because the guys are so much bigger today, it's not quite the same. It doesn't really hold up very well if you look at the guys that I mentioned. Uh, I'm not 100% sure what the problem is, but it has to be basically one or two things. It's either the training or the diet, the nutrition. And I don't, I think that for the most part, all these guys on the elite level, I would have to believe that they are training hard. Uh, some maybe a little harder than others, but I don't think any of them are really slacking or missing it with the training. It has to be more with their diet and nutrition approaching the competition. If you go back and you look at press conferences from the 90s, and you have these guys sitting down over there, and just look at their faces. When just looking at their faces, you knew that these guys were in condition. Their cheeks, their face was all sucked in. Their cheekbones appeared to be protruding because their face was so sunken in. You knew they were coming in low, very low body fat levels and conditioned, ready to go. You saw it in their faces. You look at a press conference today. I look at the faces of these of the competitors. You don't see that anymore. So that tells you they're really not bringing the type of conditioning that they did back then. And like I just stated before, previously, you can't make the excuse that the guys today are that much bigger. I mentioned a handful of guys that were 260 plus that had no problem coming in condition. So that is not it. I remember Dorian Yates relating a story that he'd be walking around backstage before he's going out to pose, and he's limping around, and the other competitors are asking him, is he okay? Is he cramping up? And he's saying, no, his feet hurt. And he couldn't understand why his feet were hurting so much. But then when he looked at an anatomy chart, he saw that there's a fat cushion on the bottom of your feet. His body fat levels were so low, that cushion was gone. That's why his feet was hurting. These guys, I'm sure, are all training hard. Inside the gym, I'm sure they're all pushing themselves hard. There's something going on with the diet and the nutrition, especially the last few weeks before the competition, which is most crucial. I don't know what they're doing, but something is not being done right because they're not able to come in with the level of conditioning that they should be. And Fouad, with all due respect, your explanation why they're not coming in with that type of conditioning does not hold weight. That's about it for this video. If you agree or disagree with what I've said, please let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share and by all means subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. This way, every time I put up another video, you will be notified. Once again, this is Michael Diamond, and I'd like to thank you for watching Muscle Central.